those springs, and Andy, after that great 4th place in race 2 of the day here, he is lining up on random grid pole position with Mark alongside, so a great start position for Mark. Mark getting the win in the first race here today and the 2nd place in the 2nd race, so he really could be on for 3 fine results here today. It could be 3 podiums even. Lee is in 3rd place, really unlucky to be honest throughout today, but particularly in that 2nd race, getting nerfed all the way to the back and then eventually recovering to only finish 7th. Graham's been involved in a few things today, but he's had some good results despite all that, so from 4th place on the grid he's got the possibility of a podium, maybe a win. Josh, who always goes well in these but really struggled in the earlier race, in race 2, lines up in 5th with Oz in 6th in the Porsche. Struggling a little bit I think with the handling here. Johnny, race 2 winner, lines up 7th with Dugamus last of our runners in 8th place. We're about to get underway. Andy probably going to be quick off the line, really quick off the line. I hope that wasn't a jump start, but he absolutely launched it, and there's contact in the mid-grid. There's Josh and Graham, and then Lee gets pushed off again. Oh, I don't believe Lee's luck, and he gets bounced all the way down towards the back of the field. But Andy leads, Graham in 2nd, Mark has stayed 3rd. I don't think Mark got a very good start, but good to see him recovering. Josh is in 4th, but Josh is pushing Graham, and then they bounced across into Cat Lee. He's actually recovered to 5th, amazingly. Dugamus in 6th, Oz in 7th, and Johnny, our race 2 winner, and could have potentially won race 1, is all the way down in last, but trying to battle back very quickly. Andy not quite under pressure yet because it's Josh putting Graham under pressure, although as they go through the corners, they're all over the back of that Datsun like a cheap suit. And we're going to go on board now with Josh as we head up to the last couple of corners. A bit of a gap back to Mark, not huge, but these 3 of the guys are really battling out for that lead. Will Graham push Andy, or will he be patient as they go into the last corner, because we know Andy's car is not quick through the corner, but it's an absolute monster down the straight. Graham getting a little bit squishy, but directs it well. Now he's under pressure from his championship rival Josh as we head down towards turn 1. And look at Mark tucking into the slipstream. He's had a 1st and 2nd already today. And there's contact, not quite. Andy's off. He's lost it on his own. And it is massive contact. Because as Andy brings his car back on the track, he collects Josh. So Graham inherits the lead. Mark in 2nd. Mark having a really good run today, and he's been really fortuitous in this one. And Lee finally getting a little bit of good luck as he does not get collected in any of that mayhem. And he's in 3rd, but he's under pressure from Dugamus, who's recovering well in these races today. Not yet had a podium today, but we saw some great car control in the 2nd of the races. Johnny, speaking of recoveries though, who was last at the end of lap 1, is now up to 5th, and only 5 seconds behind the race leader. And judging by his pace, he's got a real opportunity to recover to a podium spot at least. I mean, if he can pick off these 2, he'll be in 3rd place, and I just don't think it'll be a matter of time because he is very quick. Graham and Mark streaking out a bit of a lead though, and that will make Johnny's life very hard to try and get the win, but these 2 really pulling quite a lead. Mark ever so quick in the slipstream as they come down towards turn 1. We'll go on board with Mark and see if he can make a move for any of the early corners on the lap. This is a tricky one. It's got a very late apex here. Both of them taking different lines. Graham seems to have come through better. Mark runs a little bit wide, almost loses it, has to correct, and now that gap goes up. Because his car was so quick, that gap just jumps up instantly. Johnny in 3rd already, so he's already dispatched Dugamus. Dugamus dropped down to 7th though, so I hope there wasn't contact. Johnny up to 3rd though because he's managed to get past Lee, and Johnny's the man to watch I think, because we're not even a 3rd way through this race and he's got up to 3rd place from the last row of the grid, and that car looking frighteningly quick. He did a 14.7 last lap. He was a second quicker than our race leaders Graham and Mark. and so he's looking really fired up in that forward. Is he going to have that opportunity to win 2 out of 3 races here today? We'll have to wait and see. But he's 5.5 seconds down on the BMWs at the moment. Of course, if the BMWs fight a little bit over that race lead, that's going to help Johnny out. Oz is in a fine 5th actually at the moment in the Porsche. That's a really good running from him. We haven't watched much of him so far in this race, but really quality job there. Josh having another very nondescript race, well not nondescript race actually, he's been involved in a lot of incidents, but in terms of position he really is lacking that ultimate speed. And the chance of a victory for Josh today is next to nil. Dugamus, we didn't see how he lost out, was running 4th and running really well early on in this race, but it's not to be this time, and Andy has got all the way to the back after a great result in race 2. Now Johnny is not too far behind Mark. Mark has dropped a long way off of Graham, so there must have been a mistake or two, and as we watch on board with Johnny coming out the final turn in the forward, that dot in the very distance is race leader Graham, and then the slightly larger dot in front of us turning into turn 1 there is Mark's red, white and blue BMW. And Johnny creeping ever closer, in fact 2.5 seconds quicker than Graham, Mark that lap, so Mark was really struggling, but Graham set a good lap at 15.0, possibly the fastest we've seen of the BMW so far this weekend, but it's been Johnny in the forward who's really been setting the pace, which has been awesome to see. Lee's in 4th, but with a big gap, both in front and behind, nobody nearby, and then Josh is now ahead of Oz Phillip and in 5th place, struggling with the rear of that BMW by looks of things. See Andy's pit lane. I don't know if it's retiring. No, he's gone into tyres. He must be feeling really bad to be going in and getting tyres. They let the car off the jacks. Still, yeah, he's on the way again. Johnny not quite able to get on the back of Mark yet, because Mark sets one of his quickest laps on the last lap, and he's actually the quickest man on track on the last lap. So trying to eat back into Graham's lead and pull away from Johnny. So he's not making it easy for Johnny as we head up towards the 2/3 way through this race. Lee's not a long way back from Johnny, another couple of seconds, 3 seconds or so. Josh and Oz and Douglas and Andy all having very quiet races now. Graham does a 16.6, Mark does a 15.6. So Mark's stolen a second out of the lead. Johnny does a 15.5, just to show them all up. But Mark has taken the second out of Graham's lead on that last lap. And that's got to hurt. But Mark, you've got to keep it on the track. You're so close to coming off on the grass there, and we really want to see you try and pull that race lead down. It'll be fascinating to see a battle for this win in the final race. But commentator's curse, I think we're jinxing him. We'll come away from Mark for a minute, I think, as we watch Graham, race leader, heading down the hill into that hard left. Really difficult to get the car turned in. He misses the apex by a long shot, but it's so hard to do in any car, let alone these cars. Really awful to drive. Johnny in 3rd, Lee in 4th. Johnny trying to put Mark under some sort of pressure now. And he's definitely closing in this time. He's going to be in that slipstream range. Graham sets a 1:15.9 as they go over the line. Mark does a 1:17.6, so very slow lap from Mark, and a 1:14.9 for Johnny. Fastest of the trio, and he's reeling him in now. He's really reeling him in through the long right-hander. Pick your moment, chaps. You've got to hit that late apex, and he's trying to get up the inside nice and early on. He might do it, but of course, in relation to him, we've got Mark on the outside. I think Mark's actually lost out there. Mark has lost out, so Johnny up to second place. Fabulous driving. Get back up to second. A long way off of Graham, and in my view, not catchable with only a lap and a half to go. But this does depend on mistakes and outright speed as well. Mark probably being a second quicker than Graham on last lap. Well, if we've got a lap and a half, in theory, Johnny's not going to quite make it, but he will push hard, and we'll see where they end up. If we come over the line, then Graham does a 1:16.4. Johnny does a 1:15.1, so 1.3 seconds quicker. But we've got 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds to go, and this is the final lap. I think Graham will have done enough. Johnny's been massively quick, but to catch that amount of time is going to be an extremely tall order. And Johnny just struggling a little bit to grip there, keeps it under control. The most important thing is finishing, getting the points. You don't have to win the race. And Graham is looking very comfortable for this now. So here we are then. Graham, perhaps slightly unexpectedly, wins 2 races out of 3 here today. It's a good drive from Graham. And he was rubbed up a bit on the run down to the first corner on the first lap, so well deserved. And Graham comes across the line, wins another race, well ahead of his main partner rival Josh, and finishes 5th. Johnny is second place in the Ford, great drive from towards the back. Mark, another good drive, 3 podiums in 3 races. In fact, I think he's had a first, second and a third today. Lee in 4th after really an awful lot of bad luck, so great to get 4th place. Josh is going to come across the line on the grass, I think. He does just about rejoin the tarmac, but he's lost out a lot of ground in the championship to Graham. Oz Phillips in 6th, Dugamus 7th and Andy 8th. And Dugamus and Andy, they've managed to make contact. They're both off. Andy's actually a lap down, so quite sure why he's making contact with Dugamus, but there we are. And we'll have that race result confirmed shortly. Here we are then, confirmation, and Graham wins again today ahead of Johnny Focus in the Ford, Mark in 3rd place in the BMW. Lee finishes 4th, Josh 5th, Oz 6th, Craig in 7th, and Andy rounds up the runners in 8th.